guys for having me. So I wake up every morning and I look at the news and I've learned a whole new vocabulary. And I don't know if you guys have learned this vocabulary, but it's like AI. And then I learned agentic AI, large language models, synthetic data, synthetic focus groups, algorithms. I don't know, the list sort of goes on. And the people who are writing all this will have us believe that AI and technology is going to fundamentally change the future of humanity. I sort of beg to differ. I think the human imagination will change, continue to change the force of humanity. That's actually the one thing that's going to be our constant. But AI will be the most powerful tool that we're going to have to create that change. There's really interesting data that IBM did a study a little while ago, and it was 1,300 CEOs. They asked 1,300 CEOs, what's the most important leadership value? Number 2 was integrity. That's kind of scary, right? Number 2 is integrity. I think number 3 was rigor. Number 4 was discipline or something like that. Anybody want to take a guess what number 1 was? 1,300 CEOs in the world. Sukesh, come on, guess. Creativity is the number 1 value that CEOs are looking for. And you go, why? I don't read about that in the newspaper when I wake up, that creativity is the most important thing, that creativity and the human imagination is going to be the force that's going to define our future. You're reading about everything else. Why is creativity so important? Because creativity connects dots that are unconnected. Because creativity solves problems that need solving. Because creativity makes us feel something. And you know, when we feel something, we do something. And often, when we feel something, we do something irrational, even irrational, I'd say. We buy more of something, like 7 of them. We pay more for something because we felt something. So I'm here to tell you that marketing and creativity is not something that needs to be seen. It's something that has to be felt. Right? Hold on to that thought for a minute. And I think if we can put up the next slide, there's no not next, but the first slide, I guess. And there's no better sort of metaphor or a symbol for that than Rita mentioned, fearless girl. There's not a word here. By the way, this was an ad. Right? It was advertising, but it was extremely creative. Not a single word. Does it make anybody here feel something? Yeah? Sukesh, what do you feel? Strength. What does it make the women feel? Fearless. Both of you have a picture, both of you. What else? See, not a word was said, but there's so much that you all took away. That is the power of creativity. I'm actually a strategist. I'm an accidental CEO of an advertising agency. Prem, Jeetu, my friends, I've grown up with them. So I do everything in 3s and 5s, because that's the only thing you're going to remember, by the way. There's also psychological theory that if you do things in 3s and 5s, you'll remember it. So I want you to remember what I'm going to say, and I kind of want you to remember me and not be forgotten, right? So I'm going to start with the most important thing when we're talking about creativity, feeling, social change, impact, moving business forward, moving the world forward. And the first one I'm going to say is, it's not data. Ideas and creativity do not have to be data-led. They don't have to be brand-led. They actually have to be human-led. There's a really interesting Gallup study that says engaged consumers are 23% more likely to spend more, to generate greater revenue, to be able to help you charge a premium, all the things that we're all looking for as marketers. Right? Engaged consumers. So what does it take to create engaged consumers? It's not to understand that they're marriageable age, that they live in a household of so much income. Yeah, all of that's important. if I'm going to do performance marketing that Piyush is going to talk a lot about, right, Piyush? You're going to talk about performance marketing. But the data is important, but that's not going to help me make them feel anything. But if I understand that there's a household, and there's a young girl in that household, the parents of that household are obsessed about getting that young girl married. And to make sure she gets married, they want to make sure she has no scars on her face. True story, that's what my mom did when I was a kid. I wasn't allowed to do anything because I'd fall and get a scar on my face with stitches. I have stitches all over my face, and Mom, I got married. But you don't know that from the data. You don't know that that young girl has hopes and dreams and aspirations. You don't know that that young girl represents a generation of girls that don't want to be put through a marriage test, a beauty test. But they want to be able to put themselves through a test that their intellect is challenged. So all this data in the world didn't actually inform the work that we've done for Dove in making sure that the generation of young girls could aspire to be something much more than just be married. So I want to share that piece of work with you. The video, please. That's a deep example. But when we talk about social good and we talk about human connection, it doesn't always have to be deep. It can also be joyous. At the end of the day, we're asking people for something as marketeers. We tend to sit here on our side of the table and say, here's what I want to say to them. Just because we want to say it doesn't mean they want to hear it. So we're asking for something which is their attention and their time. What are we giving them in return? Has anybody ever heard of cortisol? It's a new word. I'm talking about vocabulary. That's another new word, by the way. Anybody heard of cortisol? Stress, the stress hormone. Mom, do you know what cortisol is? No, right? Because it's a new thing now. My job today is to embarrass my mom, by the way, so just go along. Cortisol. Everybody is stressed. So can we give joy back? Can we entertain when we want to sell a product? Because I recognize that when we're talking about marketing, and this is all about marketing, creativity, storytelling, we have to sell something. But what can we give them in return? That is entertainment, that's joy, that's laughter, that's something that adds to the time that we have taken away from them. The attention that we have asked for, we're giving something in return. So I want to show you the next example, which is for Verizon in the US. Verizon says they have the best network and nothing can break the network. And for years, they kept saying they have the best network and nothing can break the network. And you know what happened? The network equity kept going down. Because they kept telling everybody they had the best network. But they didn't tell everybody they had the best network in a way that people wanted to listen to. So here's something that we did for them and showed that the equity scores in network started going up because we entertained and we provided some joy. And Beyonce. I have to press. My third point is the creator economy. I think the Indian government just pledged $1 billion in fueling their creator economy. And Unilever CEO, who just came in recently, said that he's going to double the investment in the creator economy and actually called India out, saying there's 19,000 zip codes and Unilever is going to have one influencer in every single zip code to be able to connect and engage with their customer base better. Right? That's a big shift. And you go, so why is the creator economy part of sort of the social fabric, or why are we talking about it at this summit? Just think about it from the perspective of these influencers and creators, and especially in a market like India. These are the unseen who now can be seen. These are the ones who didn't have a voice, and now they can be heard. So when you look at it through their perspective, there's massive social upward mobility for a group of people that didn't have access to that. Right? But they also become a channel for marketers to be able to connect. But here's my sort of thing I just want to tell you. I'm obsessed about creators, obsessed. And I'm actually especially obsessed about Indian creators. That's Chatori Rajni. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Chatori Rajni. You are? Did you cry when her son died? I have cried for days when Taran died, for days. I know everything about her family. I know everything about that boy. I know everything about how they eat, how they cook. I know everything about Marwari customs, which I didn't know. And then there's the Pal family in Haryana. They cook on a mitti ka chula. I'm from Amritsar. It reminded me of the mitti ka chula at the back that we had, where the people who were looking after the farm cooked. They bought a car. They bought a black car. It's the first car that they ever had. And then they made a second house. And they made a vegetable garden in the second house. Then the husband became a creator. And the sister-in-law became a creator. Now Pragya, the daughter, has become... See, I know all their names. Why am I telling you this story? Because the power of connection of the creator economy is deep. And yet, what do we do as marketers? We use them as a channel. What is their reach? 2 million, 3 crore, 4 crore, 6 million. I want a creator who has reach of 20 million. We use them as a media channel. And I guess my provocation here to everybody is find the point of connection. Find the deepest point of connection, even if the reach is not as expensive. Because the deeper the connection, the more powerful the work will be. Now, I'm going to show you a piece of work here, again from the US, which has actually made global sort of strides. And talking about connection, this is for CeraVe, which is a body lotion in the US, and it uses Michael Cera as an influencer. Michael Cera does not have a smartphone. So what's his reach? 0, anda. But what was the earned reach of this idea? Better than anything else that I've probably ever touched in my life. Because it found the point of connection, and it had an idea at the heart of it. Two more quick points. The fourth one is about technology. And here's what I have to say before I show you a piece of work. You know, when somebody comes to your house, you don't say, let me take you to show you my plumbing. Please aake meri plumbing dekh lo. Do you ever say that? Come see the toilet and see what's inside the toilet. We don't do that as human beings. But somehow when it comes to marketing, we get obsessed with the plumbing. So again, technology is an incredible tool, but nobody wants to see the technology. They want to see the idea, they want to hear a story. They want to feel seen, and they want to feel. So I want to show you an example that does that from Cadbury in our India office, and there's Sukesh who led this. So this last point that I want to make is actually a very deeply personal thing for me. I know we talk about purpose marketing all the time, and we're talking about social good here, but I believe creativity has the power to change policy. And I would challenge every single person here to say, find the point of intersection. If you're from an agency, if you're at a brand, you have a point of intersection where something in society can fundamentally be changed, and nothing changes it like policy. It can be corporate policy that gets changed, and it can be actually governmental policy. So I made a public pledge that at Ogilvy we would change 5 policies. I'm really proud that we're at about 3 right now, and 2 in action as well. And I want to show you one idea. So actually, I want to just give you 1 second here. Black Hair Professional, which is the Crown Act in the United States, in 37 states now, hair discrimination for African-American people is illegal. So you cannot be discriminated against because you wear your hair a certain way. The Morning After Island in the Honduras, the morning After pill was banned, and you could go to prison for 6 years with an idea that we had. It's been legalized now. Tear the paper ceiling. In 27 states in the US, the state government has now said that you do not need a bachelor's degree to get actually a job, and there's over 100 companies that have joined force, the paper ceiling being a symbol for the diploma. But I want to play the latest bit of work that we've done with Powerade at the Coca-Cola Company, which is to change corporate policy for athletes and their mental health.